Hey, what's going on everyone? Hawks21 here, back with another Splinterlands video. So I want to start a new type of video on my channel, which is going to be sort of responding out loud to some of the, I would say, more interesting comments that I get. Some of my early, most knowledgeable Splinterlands video came from Infidel1258 doing this type of video. It's a, same exact thing he does. What I realized was, as he was going through and answering these his YouTube comment questions, I had a bunch of questions that I didn't even know that I had, right? So these questions you guys are asking, I really appreciate them, and there are questions that a lot of other people have but just don't type out. As always, include your in-game name, because I will give sort of some DEC bonuses to anyone who creates some good conversation in these videos. You're going to get sort of off the top responses from me. So yeah, I just really appreciate your comments. I try to respond and get back to everyone as best that I can, and this is a way to do that in sort of more of a long form. So let's get into it. You got a, hey bud, nice video as always, very informative. Can you point out what cards from common to rares and from editions, so modern, yep, okay, what cards we should buy for the Modern League for bronze and silver with a $150 deck? Okay, so a couple things. I had something similar. If you go to my how to build your initial deck video, what I basically do is I give you my 3-step deck building strategy that I used when I was first starting, which the first step of that is to buy a bunch of epic and legendary cards across all of the splinters to help you win more games at bronze. So I would pay attention to that part in particular, because it's going to, it'll show you which cards I think are going to change your game early on. So I would focus on that. So check out this video. And the other thing I would say is, I'm about to have some videos come out that are splinter by splinter guides of how I would spend $100 within each splinter to build a Silver League level deck within that splinter. And what I would suggest you do is watch those videos and adjust it for yourself, right? So if you have a $150 budget, maybe you decide to build out 2 of the splinters with $75 each. You won't be able to get all of the cards that I recommend, but you could build a reasonable deck, leaving out a card or 2. And the main thing is I would focus on specific splinters. So I'm going to have some specific splinter level content coming out. And then other than that, go watch my initial deck building video, and I talk a bit about this and specific cards you should target to help you win more games at bronze. Awesome video. I just subscribed and I'm watching all of your content. Well, thank you. I really appreciate you being here and commenting. How much do you think it will cost to level up from silver 2 to gold 3? Okay, we could do this math actually. So silver 2 to gold 3. If you go to Splinterlands leagues, I'm going to assume, let's just assume you have 40,000 power. We'll assume the bare minimum. And then gold 3, you need 100. So you need 60,000 power, right? So I guess from a cheapest possible standpoint, you could go to Peak Monsters. If you go to buy, normally it starts on grid. Sorry, I had it in compare. But this is what you would normally see. If you come to compare, you can filter, right now it's low price, by best CP to cost ratio. So I said you need 60,000. So here you can see you're getting about 170, right? Let's say 160. So from the cheapest standpoint possible, if you just wanted to go through and buy this, let's do some quick math. You need 60. Let's bring this down into the screen. If you need 60,000 power divided by, let's say, 160. So if you were to just buy the cheapest sort of collection power, again, it's a little tricky because you're going to want to build a deck that competes. So you might not just want to buy a bunch of Twilight Basilisks to get there, as quickly as possible if they're not going to be a ton of utility to you. So it's a little tricky, but from a cost standpoint, you could get there for right now $375 at the lowest. Again, that just assumes you're going to buy sort of these really cheap CP to cost ratio cards, but it's going to cost you a couple $100s if you want to move into gold. This is a very useful tool you can use. These CP to cost ratios are very good in my opinion. It used to be, I've talked about it before, it used to be about 150, and anything above that were automatic buys. But now we've sort of seen it re-rate itself to, you're getting some stuff over 170. So yeah, the lowest end, it's going to be about $400. And again, that's not even really going to get you, a very diverse playable set of cards, right? Because you're going to get them across all of these different splinters. So you're not really building out a splinter. And then if we go to summoners only, right, the CP to cost ratio is way worse for the summoners, obviously, because you need summoners, so a lot of people are willing to spend money on the summoners. So yeah, in here, right, they want you buying gold summoners, which is 100% a viable way to level up leagues. Like this Kretch, I think is a fantastic way to move yourself into higher leagues, because one, it has a great CP to cost ratio, the gold Kretch. It's obviously important. It's a very expensive card. But it will also allow, via the dragon, it'll give you more flexibility to play. If you just like level up all of the reward cards and you have a dragon summoner, you'll be able to play the dragon cards one, but you can match it up with all of these different splinters and get more use out of these really high CP to cost level cards. So yeah, I would say use this tool. It's going to cost you, depending on how like viable and playable of a deck you want, anywhere from like $400 to, if you want a really great deck, it could take up to $1,000. Definitely not cheap, but I've really liked playing in gold. It's a lot of fun, and I've found it very rewarding. I'm gonna give some DEC for that. Transfer out. Thanks for the comment. Let this go through. Cool. All right, back here we go. Again, make sure you leave your in-game name. It's always a toss-up for me between Warlock, Venari, or Spider, and then Lyra. Although Venari tends to lose to them often because it does not do enough critical damage, which is where the Warlock and Lyra work nicely again. With hitting hard, or in Lyra's case, spreading damage, which for death is what I try to do. Spread as much damage as I can across the board. Sad they don't have a taunt because death has some of the meanest backlines, but bad health. Yeah, for sure. So death does have a taunt. It's not a cheap taunt like a Chaos Legion taunt, which I assume is what you're saying. You go to, if you're actually, if you have the capital and you are looking for a death taunt monster, because I completely agree with you, the Dark Huron is, it's going to cost you 60 for one BCX, which, doesn't look that bad actually. But I agree, this would be great to put up there because, as the commenter was saying, there's a lot of great backline damage dealers in death. The Venari Bonesmith is fantastic, which they mentioned. If you get this to higher levels, it gets the 2 magic, and the Life Leech with the poison is fantastic. The Soul Strangler is great. I have it at level 6, so it's doing 4 damage for 3 mana at gold. It's just, as the commenter was saying, really low health. Same with Life Zapper with the Life Leech is fantastic in the back line. So that taunt monster might be worth it if that's what you're looking for. Obviously expensive. I don't know what your budget is, Keith, but they do have a taunt monster, just not sort of a new cheap one. Anything else on this one? Yeah, just in general, Death has a lot of great backline monsters. Completely agree with you. I love the Lyra, the opportunity. The idea of spreading out damage is interesting, right? Because a lot of the general thought is you want to focus your damage. Either, you're doing a full sneak attack play or a, focused on the front type of play. But there's definitely something to be said where if you really spread it out and you're sort of hitting them from all angles and you have enough of a defense set up, which I think is kind of what you're getting at, is it's a little tricky to make sure your death squad is, has the survivability needed to spread out the damage. It's an interesting strategy. I wonder the speed aspect, right? Getting some dodges. Lyra boosts the speed. Nightmare is great for dodging. I wonder if that could be beneficial to you. Toss out the supply runner as well to boost the speed. I personally, again, I talk about Kitty all the time because it's my favorite summoner. I don't mean to keep doing that, but Kitty really helps me. Like I'll have a video coming out soon of how I utilize these backline death monsters, and it's mainly with Kitty, right? So they're firing first, especially with the life leech. They're gaining a little bit more health. And yeah, I think there's something cooking here with this sort of death team, as you're mentioning. There's a lot of good backline damage dealers. Thanks for the comment. We'll do a couple more. Hey man, that was super useful. The way you talk about the cards you buy, definitely gonna rethink my strategies moving forward. Currently in silver and got a long way to go to be able to afford gold level, but can start thinking about it now. 100%. Love this thought. Because this is what I was doing. I was playing in silver before Chaos Legion. And I knew that I was going to utilize Chaos Legion to sort of move up to gold. And it was when I was going to spend a lot of money to buy summoners and get them all to level 6 so I could play them. But when there were some cheap cards out there that I really liked using, even though I had already maxed them out for silver, I started thinking about what cards I would want to be leveled up for gold. And I started to buy some of those copies. So I was buying some of the Nightmares. They were 20, 30, 40 cents. I think they're only like 50 cents right now still. But even when I couldn't play the Nightmare, where is it? Yeah, 50, 60 cents right now. Hasn't gone up that much. I had one at level 5, which I could play. But I started buying it up to 6, 7, 8. Even when I could only play him at the silver level and wasn't getting that benefit. Because I knew I wanted to be playing this game for a really long time. And while the card was really cheap and it was one that I liked using then, and I knew it would only get more powerful as I leveled it up, that's sort of exactly how I thought about it. And I was constantly picking up cheap cards. Right now, once I really solidify my gold deck, I'm going to start doing the same exact thing for Diamond. I'm going to start thinking about, because it's a lot of money to get your summoners up, right? So if there's some really cheap cards that I can level up to Diamond that I think, are going to be clear, obvious cards I want to use at that next stage, I'm going to start buying and getting ready to level those up whenever I'm sort of prepared to make that move into Diamond and put the money to work that it requires to level up those summoners. Well, yeah, exactly how I thought about it as I was moving up between leagues, so really like this way of thinking. We'll do one more. Yeah, this bot strategy works pretty well. Let's see. I'll respond to all of these small comments, just they're quick responses, so I want to save this for longer ones. All right. This video is great, but you'll have to revise it in a few weeks once they tweak the rewards. Yeah, 100%. But I sort of talked about the tweaking the rewards in that video, and that's part of the reason why I think you want to move up, because they're really pointing a lot of signs towards starting to layer the rewards even more than they already have. And you've sort of seen that with the pack drop rates. So definitely took that into account. But once I get the true information about the changes they're making, 100% will revise it. Currently in silver 2, almost silver 1, nice. But I'm thinking about delegating 5k power to a buddy so he can try it out. That's very, very nice of you. I don't know if I would be that generous on my push up to gold, but I love you bringing more people into the game. That's awesome. Getting 3 or 5 credits in a chest has to be disheartening for any new player. Yeah, I agree with that. That's why sort of I'm saying you need to move up leagues. But again, you can buy cards with credits. And with reward cards only at 20% print, I think they need to replace those even if it floods the market. I don't want the same reward cards forever. So that part I don't agree with. part of what's great, and this will be the last one because I'm going to talk about this one for a little bit. Part of the reason why I'm into this game is the economy they've set up, which I've talked about before. You know, they have it set up that over the long term, the supply of these cards is actually going to decrease. And they specifically don't flood the market with tons of, you know, cards every like week over week over week over week. They do a couple big edition drops and then that's it. You know, right now is the perfect time for you to be accumulating these same cards over and over and over again for free, right, through the chests. And again, you need to move up to the higher leagues to improve your drop rates of cards. Totally aware of that. You know, you're in silver, so you're not dealing with the low drop rates of bronze. But this is your time to sort of accumulate those same cards over and over again. So, you know, you're moving up to silver 1. What's after that is gold 3. So, you know, I understand that you want to get some more variety and sort of, you know, than just a bunch of Pelacor bandits. But, you know, it takes a lot of cards to get the Pelacor bandit up to, again, I'll just click all of the reward cards. We'll just go to the commons. So, you know, I mean, it took me, it doesn't want to click. I have to refresh this, hold on. See if this works now. Yeah. I mean, so to get to a level 8, which is, you know, where I wanted it for the top speed and the 3 attack, it takes 220 of them. So if you're looking to play in gold after you get to silver, you know, getting the Pelacor bandit over and over and over again just helps you. Like, that's part of what I like about this game is the rewards are helping me level up these specific cards. And it's something I don't have to worry about, like freeing up the capital to go in and buy, right? Like I didn't have to buy any Pelacor bandits because I was just getting, I think at one point I did for rental purposes, like I picked up some, but I've gotten hundreds of Pelacor bandits and I don't have to worry about going in and buying these, right? Like I'm getting them, I'm earning them. You know, and it's a card, it's annoying, right? Because it's 3 cents right now, but I don't think these cards will be 3 cents forever. Same with the Pelacor Mercenary. I don't think I've purchased the Pelacor Mercenary. I'm getting close to level 7. It's just because I get them day over day over day. I've been playing for a long time, getting a ton of chests. And like, I don't have the Pelacor Conjurer where I want it. I want the Pelacor Conjurer. I have it at level 6. I really want that Divine Shield, and then I'm going to want that extra health. But, you know, I'm going to get these cards over time. And I know it gets boring, but, you know, it's how you got to think about leveling up your deck. And like, it's how this game is built and why the economy is so great. So I think that they give you these long periods of time where they're giving you the same card to level it up and get ready to play in the higher leagues is exactly part of the reason that makes this game great. So a little the stuff in the beginning I like, but little disagreement at the end. You know, I think their current system is working really well. You know, again, even if you get a little bored, but I think flooding the market with more reward cards is a tricky slope, right? Because it takes away some of what's so great about this economy is that there are a very specific set of cards where the number is growing, right? So right now it's the reward cards and the Chaos Legion cards. But for every other card, the supply day over day is actually shrinking as it gets combined. So, you know, it's a delicate balance there where they don't want to release too many cards and have too many cards and supply growing, which could potentially tank the entire market if you're not getting player adoption fast enough. So I see what you're saying, that it can be a little boring. But trust me, these cards are going to go quicker than you think, and the reward cards prices are going to start pumping up as they have over time, generally in the past. And you'll wish you had more of them, right? Like, there's going to be a point in time where I wish I had more Pelacor Bandits because it's a really incredible sneak card, and you know the price is way higher now. And if I don't have it at a diamond or champion level, which I hope to eventually be playing at, you know, I'm going to be sorry. So I would definitely, you know, take the time and keep accumulating these cards, you know, because months and years from now, again, if you're someone who wants to be playing months and years from now, because that's what this game is built for and how the economy is set up for that type of player, which totally fine. You know, a lot of people are making a lot of money jumping in and out of games, but this is not a game where you're going to be able to do that just from how it's built. And it's why I love it, right? Because I'm not the type of person who's, you know, I don't think I'm smart enough to be jumping in and out of games in days, hours, weeks. My brain is more wired towards longer term thinking and sort of analyzing the cards and the marketplace and how it's going to change over time. But yeah, I appreciate the comment. A lot of good stuff in there. Just pushing back slightly at the last part. But yeah, so that'll wrap up my first version of this. I hope to keep doing it. I personally found these videos really beneficial as I was first coming up, mainly from Infidel 1258. So props to him for starting this format. I'm going to try to do it sort of depending on the comments I get. If I get some good comments, I'll try to do it weekly. But yeah, I really appreciate you being here. If you enjoyed the content or learned anything new, it would be awesome if you could like and subscribe. Hope you have a great day. I will see you around the game.